Hey, welcome to For the Story, the podcast that deadlifts dead shrimp. I'm Ash.
And I'm Avery. And that's right, deadlift shrimp. That's right, Ash. And this week we watched everybody's favorite movie, R.I.P.D. 2.
I was going to say Hardcore Henry.
You know, somebody brought that up to me this week. I think we should watch that movie and talk about it. Because it kind of looks fucking
I'm
rad.
Avery.
Yeah. Here we are. We're back again for another wonderful, invigorating episode of For the Story. I'm so ready to talk to you guys.
And I'm Avery.
No, we're not doing that.
And I'm Avery.
And I'm Ash. And this week we watched... No. What if it is just endless loop for an hour? You think people would be amazed or disgusted? The horror.
I mean, probably an equal amount of both as they are to our normal episodes, I would say.
Yeah, probably. That's fair. But Ash, it's been... I don't even know. When was the last time we recorded? It's been like a week.
Days ago.
It's been days since I've like 100 hours, maybe
127 hours.
Exactly. Since
I put Avery's arm under a boulder. I'm like, you stay here until the next episode.
And then he came back, brought his laptop, set up, and now we're doing a podcast. That's right.
Yep. The problem is I am very far away to move that rock, so you're just kind of fucked, I guess.
You're 7 feet away from me right now, and I'm stuck.
And I'm stuck.
But here we are, Ash. We got some different stuff. We're mixing it up a little bit this week. We watched a pretty small time movie this week. We watched VHS 2. This is another part of our endless sequels segment. I don't know, sequels selection series where we watch only the second movie in a franchise. Normally it results in some pretty bad movies. So
yeah, I would say so. And I mean, I'm still so excited for the Tooth Fairy too.
Yeah, that's horrible. I haven't seen the first one. I really hope I'm not missing out on any necessarily lore. Right?
Yeah. Well, it is a very lore, but they have a wiki.
Oh, no, wait. You're kidding. Are you serious? The Tooth Fairy Wiki?
Yeah,
I'm going to find out.
Tooth Wiki. Don't look that up.
Tooth Fairy Wiki.
It's Wikifoot. Wiki feed.
Oh, no. The Tooth Fairy is a fan. Oh, no. Well, there is a Wikipedia page, but it doesn't have its own wiki. Oh, no. Wait.
Oh, okay.
The Tooth Fairy Wiki fandom. Hold on. Small group of dedicated and talented role players. Oh, fuck, that's stupid. All right.
I don't think sexy.
So. I don't think so, unfortunately.
Oh, let's read some fanfic live on the air.
No, thanks. Let's not get into that. Cool. Yeah, so Ash, before we really get launching into our the bulk of the podcast here, did you watch anything interesting or noteworthy that has nothing to do at all with the movie that we're about to really delve into? I'm curious.
Okay. So I watched I didn't finish either of these movies, but I watched 2 movies. The first one I watched was The Green Inferno.
Oh.
Featuring Junie from Spy Kids.
No shit, really? Is he the one who gets like his guts pulled out or something?
You fully see this like former child star's dick in the movie. Almost get bit by a tarantula.
Ew. Doesn't he hang out with like Meghan Trainor? He's all about that bass. I was gonna say.
They don't get the joke, Avery.
Wasn't there was like
I'm stupid.
There was like a picture that you sent me that was like he was walking out of a sex shop with Meghan Trainor. Didn't you send me that?
That must have been one of the other 5 people I got to send you stuff about Spy Kids.
That could be it. But there's a picture out there of them walking out of a sex shop, apparently. So if you want to know, if you want to see Junie from Spy Kids.
Oh, Junie.
I don't think anyone wants to hear that. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that movie's real bad.
Oh, really?
Really didn't like it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Did you like it?
I haven't seen it. That was one of those ones that has always been in like my backlog. Like, I'll watch that someday. You know?
It's like, it's not scary. I kind of where the movie lost me, like they're doing like rebel teen college kid activism where they tie themselves to stuff in another country in South America.
Oh my.
And then they get lost and they get abducted by a Native American tribe. And as soon as they see Native Americans, they start screaming. I'm like, they haven't done anything scary yet.
Yeah. No, where do they go? That's like the worst reaction. You wouldn't even be like, hello. Like, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Like, greetings.
And then,
like something.
I mean, I guess pretty soon they start like killing them, but it plays really weird, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about any of this, so I stopped watching it because I hate gore without a purpose. It needs to be part of scaring me or an aesthetic.
That's where we differ, my friend.
I think if you ever watch this movie, I think you'll agree that the gore placement's pretty stupid. The other movie I watched was the sequel to the film Iron Sky. Did you ever see Iron Sky?
I don't know. I feel like I have. The title sounds
with the moon Nazis.
With the what?
Moon and Nazis.
Moon Nazis. Maybe I haven't seen that one. Iron Sky.
You remember it on account of the moon Nazis. I never saw Iron Sky either. But they had a new one come out, and it's like insufferably bad. Not even like good bad, it's bad. You know what I mean?
Man.
This one
this is ridiculous.
Humanity's basically
like a joke
dead.
Movie? There's a T-Rex behind him.
There is.
Shit.
Because they go, okay, so they're on the moon on the former Nazi base for the moon Nazis, right?
Yeah.
And like this black girl's family or mom is sick. And so she talks to Space Hitler, and Space Hitler's like, actually, we're reptilians from the center of the earth.
No.
And we have this magical regeneration crystal, and if you do it, you'll have enough power to go find another planet. And then like there's a scene where they have the table from the Last Supper, and like lizard person Osama bin Laden and lizard person Mark Zuckerberg and lizard person president who's Sarah Palin and like Stalin and like a bunch of weird characters
just
hang
all
out.
Everyone. Hillary Clinton.
The president from Independence Day. That's your
Chewbacca.
It's so bad. It's not even good bad. It's just really terrible.
Well, that's great.
It's great.
This sounds wonderful.
You should watch it. It's called Iron Sky: The Coming Race.
Yeah.
Definitely just check it out.
Oh, shit. Of course their moon base is a giant swastika.
Yeah, of course. It's Space Hitler's place.
Yeah, they'll never see this from Earth, the next closest planet.
They keep calling the moon a planet over the course of the movie, and it drove me insane because I'm fucking weird. I guess that's probably one of the more normal reactions I have as a human being. What about you, Avery? What did you see this week?
So I watched something interesting. I was just scrolling around because my life is meaningless, and I decided to watch.
Uplifting,
I mean, that
dude.
doesn't
Very
really
cool.
correlate. That doesn't really correlate to what I decided to watch, but I watched that. That Netflix documentary about the yoga guru. I think his name is Bikram. And that guy's a sack of shit, let me tell you what. So I don't know. I didn't finish that either. So I don't actually know what ended up happening to him. I think he like didn't ever get charged with actual criminal criminal stuff. He never was like sent to prison. I don't know exactly where he ended up going, but he was just like sued or something, and then like that's all that happened, and then they just dropped it, which is silly. Yeah, you know, you'd think that like people would like actually take something out on him, but shit, that's basically what I gathered from it.
That's dope ass yoga though. So like, what are you gonna do? The dude invented some fire yoga. Yeah, literally, he's a hot yoga guy.
But like the thing about it is that like he was always like yelling at people for like when they would be like fat or something, and like it inspired people to get in shape and stuff. But he's like kind of like looks like he's made out of Play-Doh. He's like a really gross looking dude. I kept making that like, oh, look, the ultimate male form kind of joke. You know, it's just like, you ever see someone who's ripped? Fuck no, you haven't. Look at Bikram. And he's just like flabby and gross. Yeah. It's just a sack of shit
comes from.
Yeah. Well, I think the most irritating thing about it was that the whole idea is that it's hot yoga. So everyone's supposed to be, you know, sweating their balls off and like really working for it and stuff. But he's got a goddamn air conditioner just blowing cold air on he's like a fucking fraud. And it was, yeah, it was so infuriating. I was like, how are these people dumb enough to fall for this for so long? I guess was what I was just like, can't you see, like, that's a megalomaniac right there. I didn't see how people didn't see it. I guess is my frustration with the whole thing. But then also, like, of course he's a horrible, of course he's a horrible, you know, like, sexual offender. Yeah, like, of course he is. And yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's just he clearly, like, so deep into narcissistic personality disorder. Like, the fact that it didn't come out sooner that he was a total creep is almost surprising to me. But there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's like all the health food things. I have some people I used to go to college with on Instagram who will post about, you know, oh, this is the new healthy thing. And
oh,
like,
no.
What's your source? Like, they're like, this is good for your gut. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's not how that works.
Why is that good for your gut? And they're like, oh, Febreze is bad for you. Okay, that might be true. Why? Tell me, answer my question. And it's just like, fucking, dude, I read this one book. Don't tell anyone. Edit this out.
Why?
I read this one book, and it was called, I think, The Year of Living Perfectly, and it's this guy. Now I'm forgetting the name, but he basically like followed all the weird health tips that are supposed to make you healthy for a year. And the conclusion of the book is like, the diet and health industry are bullshit. It changes every couple of months. Like, don't fucking listen to anyone. No one knows what the fuck they're talking about. Like, very few. It's like, there are certain things like, yeah, you probably should eat fiber.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's what's interesting to me about that entire thing is that it seems like to come from like unsubstantiated sources. Like, I think a great example, and we could probably agree on this, is the idea of anti-vaccination. How it's one woman was just like, my son caught autism from vaccines, and then it was like based on this scientific study that was like clearly not scientific in all of these things, and people just believe it because it sounds scary, and because they're like, oh, needles and oh, big pharma, and it's like, no. And like the biggest problem with it is that if you look at, like, people aren't old enough to remember a time before vaccines when children could get polio. And so they just have this skewed perspective. It's like, polio is worse. Even if vaccines did cause autism, polio is worse than autism.
There's nothing wrong with being autistic, by the way. Like,
it's just demonizing autism, which is so offensive and bad. It's just like, you hate autistic people so much that you rather your kid had polio is insane.
Like, no, I had, when I was having lunch on my mom's birthday with like her friends, like one of them brought up that she was an anti-vaxxer, and she's like, yeah, like the human papillomavirus vaccine, like I've never met anyone who's had that and ended up not getting sick from it. And I'm like, me? How about that? You probably only hear about
that's me.
Yeah. Like, you probably only hear like, because like most people get vaccinated, most people are fine and they don't fucking make a fuss about it.
Yeah.
But you know, if someone has an adverse reaction, which does fucking happen, that does happen, like they're louder than the people who are just fine.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna, like, you can concentrate on that, but you shouldn't. It's fucking dumb. Like, be smart.
It's all confirmation bias. It's like people have decided something, and then the more they read, the deeper they go into the internet, the more they find more and worse unsubstantiated claims that just back up everything they're already believing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they have all this evidence, but when somebody, you know, puts them on the stand to be like, okay, prove all this shit, they have nothing. Like, everything is just
That's why I don't read.
Yeah. And that's why we don't read books.
Anyways,
yeah.
So did you watch anything else besides that documentary?
That's pretty much all I watched. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I think it's seasonal affective disorder, but I have just been looping The Office for months now. I finished it and then I started over again.
You gotta get out of that rut. You gotta get out of that rut. You gotta watch Riverdale, dude.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll start Riverdale today.
I was telling Avery before we started recording, I'm at my mom's house right now, and she's watching Riverdale in the other room. So if you hear someone go, "Oh no," in the background, that's my mom.
It's Riverdale.
It's Riverdale. I was telling Avery that I've just been updating Avery on what's going on in that show. It's very important stuff.
One thing I did watch, Ash.
Let's go.
I'm on the computer all day. We kind of wanted to. We talked a little bit about this when the first trailer came out, but I saw the new trailer for Rise of Skywalker, the full-length one. I was initially a little excited for this movie, and the hype is building. I feel that there's an energy in the air. I'm not going to not go see it, you know?
Yeah.
But
granted, we're going to see Cats and not Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we're going to have to see both. I think we're kind of obligated to, but...
not just Cats, the superior film.
No.
What if you love it, dude? What if you love Cats?
I just think that it's impossible. I don't like musicals. I do like cats, but I don't like grossly anthropomorphized cats.
Avery, what's that in your closet? Is that a cow outfit?
No, it's not. It is not. And yeah, so I think we should... You know, the hype is building for Rise of Skywalker. People are talking about it. I don't know, maybe not really, but everyone's talking about Star Wars right now because of The Mandalorian. And I think The Mandalorian came out at a great time to start building hype for Star Wars movies again. And supposedly, it's all coming to a close. And Darth Vader's sacrifice was totally in vain because the Dark Lord Emperor Palpatine's going to come back, just totally undercutting everything that was good about the original movies. But we wanted to talk about some ridiculous theories that we have for Rise of Skywalker and what exactly is going to come of this final movie. Ash, would you like to start?
Yeah. So as we know, they've now killed everyone who is from the old movies, except for a couple people.
Except for C-3PO.
I think he's dying for sure. Yep. C-3PO's dying.
Yep, they already spoiled that in the trailer, so that's great. So cool.
I think, is Lando still alive? Because he's dead.
He's gonna be gone. He's definitely gonna be in this one. Yeah.
Admiral Akbar will die in a scene that is too long.
Oh yeah, Admiral Akbar. Lando will sacrifice himself. For these kids who we met like a couple hours ago.
I do truly think that there is going to be a scene with Admiral Akbar dying where he says, "It was a trap." As he's like dying.
I really hope you're right.
I think that Chewbacca's going to die.
Yeah, they're probably going to kill everyone off, right? But they won't touch maybe they'll touch the main series characters. Did you see in the trailer the part where they're all just riding on horses across like the Death Star or something? Because that was pretty fucking dumb. So that's a thing.
They're like really pushing like the look at how cinematic our planets are. I'm like, ugh.
But it's gross. It's just like so much shit in one shot. It's just like J.J. Abrams is just scooping stuff in there. He's just like Star Destroyers and a planet and put an X-Wing and a Y-Wing and a V-Wing and a Q-Wing.
And an AT-AT.
Yeah, and an AT-AT just floating by. And they're on horses and Admiral Akbar's there. It's like, Jesus, God, fucking goddamn.
There's an AT-AT on a horse.
Yeah.
It's way too big.
You know, I make the joke about like, when we're adding more things to a scene about, and Chewbacca's there, and the president from fucking Independence Day is there, and his drunk uncle flies by on a bi-wing. It's like, that is what the Rise of Skywalker is going to be. That's why we're going to the movies.
Oh, it's going to be such a terrible mistake. Listen, I like Rey, and I like...
Yeah.
I like what's-his-face? Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I think they're both like good. Everything else about those movies fucking suck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't like anyone else. Like
Finn is just there.
He's very much just there.
He's just there. Like there's no reason. They even added in a new one. They added in Rose. Now she's just there. So there you go. You got two just there characters. I made a joke when The Last Jedi came out. It seems like every trilogy that comes out, they need to add more obligatory droids to have cameos with. And I think the end result for Star Wars is that the entire movie is just going to be cameos from droids from past trilogies that they'll have to subsequently kill off in every movie because they need to sacrifice.
Everyone needs to, because those movies try so hard to be like, look, we're killing, like they'll just kill an old character from the old trilogy.
Do it. Yeah.
And that's
Force Awakens made a ton of money.
Yep. They killed off Harrison Ford and then they killed off sweaty guy. What's his name?
Sweaty guy, what's his name? I actually don't know who you're talking about.
Didn't they kill off Luke?
I can't remember if he died or not.
I'm pretty sure he died.
Fuck. I know he was like there, but he was like a Force ghost, and then he was like on the shit, man. I don't know. Maybe I just watched Last Jedi like last week, and I can't remember.
Yeah, that movie is tough to watch.
Yeah,
too long.
So I wanted to talk about my theory.
Your theory, which makes me sad.
Because I think it's so stupid that it's possible.
It's really possible, and
I legitimately think that they're going to take a page out of the Marvel book like they've been trying to do this whole time, and The Rise of Skywalker is going to have a shitty time travel sequence.
Yeah, I think it will not pay off in the same way.
No, not at all. I think
because at least Endgame it wasn't great, but it was like at least it had some payoff.
Yeah.
And Avery, you know about me that I hate agreeing with you, but I think that this is a very plausible thing.
I'm almost so confident that there's going to be a bad time travel sequence. I'm going to say that it's got to be in there, right?
Sure.
That and another shitty thing that they're probably going to do. Darth Maul's probably going to be in this movie, right?
Okay.
Right? Like, why not?
Oh, God. Was Darth Maul Snoke the whole time?
Was Snoke actually Emperor Palpatine?
Was Darth Snoke the actual Maul the whole time?
Did Darth Snoke go to the mall for the whole third movie? That's why he's not there. He faked his own death so he could go shopping.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if they have like the epic crawl and it just pans through space and it's just a Jedi at the grocery store? And next thing you know, it's Jesse Eisenberg and he's like, hey.
Oh, Christ.
and Rey's like, hey, I like your cloak. Is that a lightsaber? Yeah, no, it is. And then just like quirky indie music comes on in the background.
Oh, God.
I just made a good movie. Congratulations, Star Wars. I did.
I read this article. I don't know if it was fake or not. I actually didn't even read it. I just read the title. And it said, like, great news. Brie Larson's going to be in Star Wars. I was like, great news? Like, is that great news?
Let's bloat this fucking cast more.
Let's just do it. Who else can we get? Jesse Eisenberg could be in there. That'd be a good one.
The gray aliens from our week's movie.
The guy who plays the president in Independence Day.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that's so bad.
Thanos is there. Oh my God. Thanos fighting Palpatine. Peter Griffin.
Dude, I'm telling you, inevitably, there's going to be a Marvel Star Wars crossover, right?
There's got to.
Like, there's no way that's not going to happen. Warren. In 2031, when they finally run out of ideas.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Like, it's gonna fucking happen, dude. They're probably already in talks about it. Right?
Yeah. I feel like the Eternals are going to be the crossover point.
You think? Maybe. Like, it's going to happen. Forget all the, like, they're just going to say, fuck it. Forget all the, in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. They're going to be like, nah, just happens completely congruently. Or maybe they'll travel forward in time in the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and they'll
meet the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you remember how I was telling you about Iron Sky and how that movie's about space Nazis?
Yeah.
From the dark side of the moon? That's just Star Wars. I just realized it's just space Nazis is Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty similar idea, huh? And go figure.
Yeah.
Well,
you'd think that they'd try and bring in like another war, like maybe.
Yeah, maybe like a ground wars.
Yeah,
or like a black hole wars, perhaps.
Bill Murray. That's who the new Star Wars needs.
Yikes.
You
Bill Murray's
like
not going to do that. Bill Murray will do it if they pay him $20 million and he gets to sit down the whole time. Right?
I mean, I guess.
He's allowed to drink on set and sit down the entire filming.
Then
That's how they get Bill Murray in there.
Oh, God.
Yep. Oh, man. Who else? Mark Maron.
Mark Maron's going to be in. He's just going to be on one of the Death Stars like, all right, so here's the deal.
Just being like manic. They're like, what the hell? You can't do that. Or something like that, right?
What are he's snorting those crystals that they use to make lightsabers, and like Ray's like, you can't do that. We need those for lightsabers.
Oh yeah, Mark Maron. Anyway, all right. Unless do you have another obscure prediction, or should we start moving into our expectations section?
Be really funny if that's not Palpatine. It's just someone with the same voice.
They just get the same actor to play a different character. Well, that'd be horrible.
Hayden Christensen as Emperor Palpatine.
Oh my God, Hayden Christensen's gonna be in the Rise of Skywalker.
It's the crossover no one asked for.
Dude, that's so gonna happen because they're gonna cram every goddamn character.
Jared Leto's Joker.
Natalie Portman is gonna be in it.
Harley Quinn.
Oh God. Dude, if this is like actually like legitimately the Marvel crossover and they just kept it like super secret. Like somebody would have to leak that, right? Like there's no way that's happening already.
The amount of clickbait titles that I would see would be like, "You'll never guess what happened at the end of Star Wars." It's like, yeah, because no one wants to guess that.
No one wants that. No one wants that yet. It's gonna happen, but nobody wants it yet.
Yeah, and like fucking earn it.
Yeah,
Star Wars needs to like up their game a little bit. Like, I am a big hater for Star Wars. At
least nowadays, right?
Yeah, like nowadays for sure. I have mixed feelings about the old movies too, because I don't have a nostalgia factor. But like for sure, Marvel movies are in no way perfect, but they have worked pretty hard on them. Whereas the new Star Wars movies have just made money off of an IP. Yeah, like much more really so.
I think in general, Marvel movies are at least watchable all the way through.
Yeah. And like
most Star Wars movies kind of suck.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. Like
it's like Empire and the first one and A New Hope. I get Empire and Star Wars are both really great. Return of the Jedi kind of blows, I think, except for like select parts. Yeah. And then I'm everything after that.
The old ones too. Like I am not. I do not stand Star Wars, and I'm realizing now I'm going to have to articulate why I'm not a fan, which I think is hard considering the internet. It's just kind of a tough place to be.
I don't know. I think you can have that like subjective leeway with like if it's just not your thing, it's just not your thing. You know,
when someone tries to stab me with a toy lightsaber later, like that's on you, dog.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll call that off then.
Oh shit. That's a really weird hit. I hope you did not pay much money for that.
So Ash, if we're good there, let's start talking about some of our expectations because we're shifting gears. We're going back to like 2012. What year did this movie come out?
13, the greatest movie for all films.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Weird. This is one of the better movies that came out this year, I think. But there's a lot of really fucking bad movies that came out in 2013. Regardless, we do want to talk about some of our expectations for this movie. I've already seen this movie a couple times, so it's kind of not really my place to do that. I know what I was going into, although I did have a little bit different of an experience this time than I did the last time I watched this movie, but it's also been quite a few years. But Ash, I'm really curious what your expectations for VHS 2 were.
I keep thinking this movie is Wreck 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I always think that. It was really hard for me to find this movie. And then I had to pay for it.
I did too. Yeah, sorry.
I went, all right, Avery, this better be fucking good. And then I had an opinion about it once I watched it. I had no idea what the fuck this movie was going to be. You said it was an anthology. I knew it involved VHSs. Yeah, that's about all I got for expectations. What about you?
All right. I remember I saw this years ago, and I had a friend who showed me the first one. It was just like, if you haven't seen this, you should come over and we'll watch it because it's kind of interesting. And I was like, okay. So I watched the first one, and I was like, wow, that was scary, but one of the more unique concepts that I had ever seen. You know, it was definitely one of the more interesting movies, especially at the time in like 2013, the year of awful movies. When everything else was so bad, the concept was just so interesting and different that I was excited about it. And I always have liked found footage. I find it to be scarier because it seems realer, with some exceptions in the second one. But in the first one, it was a lot more gritty and less CG, which I think did it a service in the first one. But we watched the first one, and then I think it was like a week later, we found out that there was a second one, so we watched that. And that was pretty much where we went with that. And this movie actually scared me the first time I saw it, which is funny, like looking at it now, but I've seen a lot more movies since.
Yeah.
But
which part?
Oh man, I don't want to talk about it just yet, because I think that there is some fun, scary stuff in this. It's kind of hokey, but there is still some fun, scary stuff. But we'll talk about that when we get into pros or cons, or however you want to put it. But yeah. So I was hesitant at first because I didn't, especially in 2013, because I had no idea, and I had no idea what this was, but ended up being pleasantly surprised. So there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Let's start with some pros.
Okay.
Let's get right into this. I want to talk about some hard pros, because there's a lot of good stuff in this movie, and I want you to start, Ash.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I like it's hard because it's a place. It's not just getting the pro. It's also where we start our conversation.
Oh,
you know?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
there's more pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can't just start off with like it was fun.
Yeah, because if I'm gonna be honest with you, I really, really, really thought this was pretty boring.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't know. Because I don't want to start with the obvious one, which is the cult one, which is the obvious strength of the movie for the first 2/3 of it.
Yeah.
Then it gets pretty.
We can start with the cult one, because I think that's probably the most well received short out of any of the shorts in either movie, the first one or the second one.
According to whom? Who's receiving them?
I don't know. That's just the one that people talk about still, because I've talked to other people about this movie, and that's the one that they bring up. It's just like, yeah, the occult one. I feel like I remember hearing that this movie won an award, but I was looking for information on that before the movie started, and I couldn't find anything about it. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Probably not.
Yeah, so
I doubt this won anything.
Yeah.
I doubt anyone saw this movie.
No, people saw it, man.
It had a $23,000
but
gross box office.
People talked about this movie when it came out. Like, people really did, or at least people that I knew. So
freaks.
But I'm pretty sure from what I can tell that the third one, it's called Safe Haven, is the name of the short. Very clearly the strength of the entire movie, I would say. It's a standout. The other ones are decent. I feel like in general, the shorts in this one are, on a whole, better than the shorts in the first one. Although there are good ones in the first one too. So
I would have been upset if we had watched the first one, because I will say about that one in particular, I think that they built it really well. I feel like conceptually, like, and not to get into like cons, but like with that one in particular, like fucking give me some content. Yeah, it just felt like it under-delivered because it couldn't develop. And like, the really great thing about found footage, I think, is not just like looking through that POV. It's also, I think it builds tension a lot better than normally filmed movies, because with normally filmed movies, you kind of see the scare coming. But when you
see a lot more angles.
Yeah, and like with the found footage, like let me fucking stew in it. Like let me breathe it in before you hit me with it. So like these were super fast paced, which was nice in a capacity, but also I don't know. I would have liked that to be like fleshed out to an hour and a half.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with you there. That one, I think, does a really good job of its length. I think it's only like 15 minutes long. I think most of these are only like 15 minutes long. It might be longer.
That one was one of the longer ones.
Yeah, I think I think it's the longest one on there. But it does a pretty good job of using its time effectively, I think. I think the A Ride in the Park, the one where he turns into a zombie when he's on a bike, I think that's the shortest one.
Thank God.
Yeah. I like that one.
I think it's truly awful.
Oh, I thought it was such a fun idea. I like really, really silly. Like there's the part where he like looks in the mirror and there's like the fork in his eye, and he pulls out the fork and it's like his eyeballs stuck to it. I love that shit. I like the idea of like, I don't know. This movie also came out at a time when zombies were like cooler, you know. So it's kind of like.
Yeah, I think that's like, and that was like a problem for me with like not only that one, but also the end of the cult one, Safe Haven or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
is like just randomly a guy's a zombie, and I'm like, God damn it, can we just like not like, why are we going back to that well again?
Yeah. 2013.
Like, you can tell that these were written by different people.
You could tell that they were written by different people, which I think is good. I liked the variety.
No, I like the nice.
Variety. Yeah,
but like you can tell none of them communicated about like, hey, we're gonna do a zombie thing.
I'm not 100% certain, but I kind of get the suspicion that this was like submission based, in that they picked the best ones out of submissions. But I can't say that. It's just the amount that they differ is so much, and the fact that there is like zombies towards the end of Safe Haven kind of leads me to believe that was just a coincidence. But also, it's kind of a product of that time. The early 2010s and the late 2000s was like, zombies were fucking cool back then still. So it's kind of hard to like people are really burnt out on the zombie thing now. Obviously.
Yeah. I think, look at the fucking like box office numbers for Zombieland 2. Yeah. Not even a brilliant actor like Jesse Eisenberg can save it.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think people are on the burnout. I think like World War Z, when that came out in 2013, that was one of the final nails in the coffin. That's when people were like, this is just getting stupid. And nobody really cared about that movie. And then this came out the same year. And so it was kind of like the tail end of that. But it was still like the popular thing, and it's still like sold. Like The Walking Dead was only in its like, I don't know, like its fourth, maybe fifth season. It's probably when it started to really go downhill. Regardless, we're at the tail end of zombies, so they're in 2 of them here, and it kind of makes sense. And these ones, I don't know, they're like demon zombies in Safe Haven. They're just straight up zombies in the first one.
But it's like they kind of do that one. Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
More good things.
What did you think about the fourth one, the Slumber Party Alien Abduction? And that's just the name of the video. It doesn't have a really creative title. Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
Loses points for name for sure.
All right.
I don't know. It's pretty dumb. I hate kids. That's just kind of like I mean, like just watching them like shoot pee at people. I'm like, who is this for?
Yeah,
and then with the grays, and then showing the dead dog, super unearned.
Oh, ooh, that hurt.
Not
an awesome way to end that. Yeah,
not a fan. Can you explain to me the fuck the main story is supposed to be? You said that there's like some connection between this one and the last one.
Oh, so there is. Yeah. Real quick, I do kind of want to talk about the slumber party alien abduction.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick before we totally get onto that, because I do want to talk about the framework story a little bit too, because it does relate to the first one. But
okay.
Basically, this one I think is interesting watching this in a post Stranger Things world, because it seemed like they were trying to go for the exact same thing with all the kids, and they all like dick around and make fun of their older siblings. You know, stuff like that. But they have like a camera and they're always strapping it to the dog. I like the way the slumber party alien abduction one starts, and I really like the reveal of the aliens. Like, I don't know if you remember, but they jump under the water and they have the camera under the water, and you see one just like in the lake reaching out. That actually kind of scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it. I saw the rest of it, and it's hokey. It's dudes in gray costumes, like just reaching out at them. But I liked the sound that the spaceship made. I find that I enjoy the fourth one a lot more, you know, probably than like the first one. Like I said, they kind of ramp up in this one a little bit more. But shit, yeah, the framework story.
Yeah, or you can talk about the first one.
I don't know. The first one I kind of was gonna save for cons. With the eyeball, because I
thought it had some good parts to it, but it just kind of I just feel like a lot of these didn't work because they were shorts.
Yeah,
you know, where it's like that's one where it's like kind of like the idea of, you know, this thing happens and you see undead people and they're going to bother you more the more you pay attention to them. I think that's a great hook, but I don't think it ends the way it ends. I think it ends like he's like sad and alone and like just trying not to look at them in his old age. Like just like a very sad, macabre ending where it's like, he goes through all this shit.
Kill him, which is like the obvious thing. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, okay, so basically what you're saying is only this guy can see them, and then, but the more he pays attention to them, the more they're gonna bother him. So like, put him at the end of the like movie, like stretch that out, give me more substance to it, and like have him just be like on a rocking chair, Sylvester Stallone style at the end of Rambo Last Blood, and all these guys are like staring at him, and he's just staring off in the distance, and you zoom in and just like a tear runs down his face. Boom.
Like the camera gets all blurry because it's in his face. Yeah, shit. Yeah, it could have been better. Yeah. So let's talk about real quick with the eyeball one. So do you remember when I watched that like John Carpenter anthology film from the early 90s?
Vaguely, that does sound familiar.
Well, there was one in it that had Mark Hamill in it, and it's like almost the exact same story as this as the eyeball one, which is actually called Phase 1 Clinical Trials.
Great name. I like that.
Yeah. Basically, the idea is that Mark Hamill gets injured and they replace his eyeball with a different eyeball, but the eyeball allows him to see horrible, gory things, and it's an evil eyeball that compels him to do evil things.
That's like, a Goosebumps story for sure.
Right? It sounds very similar, but it also sounds extremely similar to this short. And I remember thinking that it was pretty original the first time I saw VHS 2, but then I realized that they kind of just stole it. Like they stole the idea, except this time it's robot eye that's making him see creepy weirdo shit, which I think is like kind of a fun idea anyway. So I don't know. It gets points for me for being more unique than any other movie that came out that year. So
But I will also add, for talking about Phase 1 clinical trials, like Hannah Hughes, her character, you add that fucking dynamic where it's like, I'm the one who can hear them and he's the one who can see them, and how do we work that out? And also, I have cool boobs. Like, yeah.
Cool.
I would have loved it.
I think she was fine. She was a fine addition. I think it was kind of silly where she was like, I did like how she just came over and she was like, "Do you have any beer?" He's like, "Yeah." It's
like just painkillers.
It's just like the weirdest like night of his life. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I think it's a good opener for this film. But let's talk about this framework story for a second, because it's called Tape 49. You asked me how it's related to the first one. Basically, two totally different characters, but in the first one, it's like these group of like vagrant dudes. Like they're just shitty. Like they record themselves just like like unnecessarily vandalizing people's stuff and like doing horrible things to people on the street just for no reason. And like they're just shitty guys, and that's how they kind of start getting into like this obscure tape collection scene. And they break into this guy's house who they hear has a whole bunch of really good tapes. They get in there and there's just like thousands of them. The guy's just dead in a chair and stuff. And basically it turns out the guy's not dead. He's wandering around the house. He kills them all. He's some kind of creature because the bizarre tapes turn you into a monster is the idea. In the second one, only one guy makes it out, and he runs away, doesn't tell any of his family and everything. And the private investigator that's at the beginning of the second one has been hired to go and find him. And they track him down to a house. They find that he's living in that shitty shack house with like just screens everywhere and stacked up, like just a total hermit, because he's like so invested in these bizarre tapes that he's losing his mind. So that's how they connect, very loosely.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, and I'll save that for the cons. But yeah, so basically that's it. Yeah. Yeah. You have any other pros, or do we want to move on to our little cons section guy here? Yeah.
I'm ready for cons.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want me to start this time?
Yeah, you start. You shit on this movie. You shit on it good.
I'll say we were just talking about the framework, and I want to bring this up. You can tell that the frame narrative wasn't set up to have anything to do with any of the shorts. They don't talk about a single thing that happens in them. When the tape is over, they like pull the tape out and they're like, whoa, that was weird. And then like they go to the next thing. Like you could tell that when they were filming the frame narrative, they had no idea what these movie submissions were going to be. And, and it was kind of obvious in the first one. But they do a little bit better of a job, I think, of like taking your mind away from that in the first one. And this one, they just like look and they're like, whoa, weird. And then like so they like go through, the guy's stuff or something.
Very Beavis and Butthead watching music videos.
Yeah. Yeah. You're totally right. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think one of the big weaknesses, and it kind of pertains to the framework story, Super doesn't have to be a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Like, it might have been more so in the first one, but this one was like super like, yeah, this is not showing me, this is like not earning being a movie and not a TV show.
Yeah. I think that this could succeed as a TV show type idea. I think it would be that could honestly be an interesting future for the series. They made a third one, and this is a con. This is a con, just straight up. They made a third one called VHS Viral, and it's real bad. There's like one in it that's only okay. And I don't know why. I think like some of the major creators behind this second one, which I think is just like a very fun successor to the first one, I think left the project or something like midway through, and it just tanked. It's real bad. Everybody hates it, which sucks because the first two are pretty fun. But yeah, so I think it could succeed as like a television show.
Yeah, because like I'd like to see like kind of a, actually give me an arc for the framework story and give us a little bit of it each episode, 24 episodes, and just give me fucking I'm like just, I like the anthology TV shows, even like Tales from the Crypt, but definitely the Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah.
Huge fan. And so like, I don't know, when you like, that was me every fucking New Year's when I was like a little kid, is I would watch the Sci-Fi Channel, Twilight Zone. And so I think that's where I was kind of let down by this movie, is it just was kind of weak on a lot of these. I didn't connect with many of them.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and that's like one of those things. That's why I'm glad to hear you talk about this, because that's kind of subjective. I remember when I saw this, it like hit me, and I was like, that was one of the most unique things I've seen in a long time, and that like really got me about it. Looking back at it now, I think I have a little bit more developed of a perspective, and I see some of the shortcomings. Like I see some of the CGI that they put in this that looks really dated now. Looked less dated then. but we're talking 2013 CGI, whether you like it or not, has progressed in that time. Why
would you say that? How dare you?
It has. And so some of these, I forget which one it was specifically that you could see it. I think it was in Safe Haven, where it was really obvious that there was CGI involved. And I remember being blown away by that short when I saw it, and being like, that was fucking awesome. But like looking back on it now, I'm like, this is kind of undercut a little bit by the fact that like it's not that it is CGI and they're trying to pass it off as real. Additionally, that one has editing, and that bugs me now because like most of the other tapes are just like straight through. You know what I mean? Like you just see it through a camera. That one changes perspective multiple times. And I thought it worked better as like, it's a story, but the idea is like it's found footage. You'd think it would just be one tape that plays all the way through rather than somebody somehow didn't just find one tape, but found fucking 8 tapes and edited them all together,
Yeah.
And that bugs me more now than it did back then. But
that is something that I kind of noticed from the get-go in this movie. As they're setting up the framework, they didn't do like a really great job of establishing what the cameras were, because those guys had like 3, and I kept going like, wait, is that just a random camera angle? Because especially in that dark car, you can't see that he's like holding the camera on his lap or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at it and you're going like, okay, so it's just got like a dumb angle. Is that what we're doing? Like, where is the camera? And that I think that was one of the big strengths of Phase 1 clinical trials, is it is just a straight POV.
I think so too. There's some CGI in that one too, which is a little noticeable. There's some odd like editing choices where they make everything go all fuzzy and like get all grainy. But I kind of like that shit too sometimes. I think that's part of the found footage experience. And I think what I really liked about Phase 1 clinical trials is like at the beginning, you see him blinking like over the camera.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great effect. That's cool.
Yeah. They should have kept that up. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they didn't.
I think they slowly taper it off, because if they did keep it up the whole time, it would probably be kind of annoying. But
I would have liked to see what that would have looked like. I mean, it's not that long of a short to like take a look. Just
do it. Yeah, maybe they tried to like do it and they were like, we'll keep this up the whole time, and then they were like, this is just like epileptic or something like that. So they just add him in, like the blinks in at like good times to do it, or like when he's closing his eyes or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was a cool idea. I like the ones that are just a straight shot through like that. The ones in the first movie are a lot more like that. Where it's just straight through. This one, they must have had more of a budget or something where they were able to create these more drawn out, edited, more like mini movies than they are really just like a found footage tape that they made with a camcorder. Yeah. It seemed like in this one they recorded it with like really good camera equipment and then made it look like it was a camcorder. Do you see what I mean? But shit.
No, I totally do. It does look like
yeah.
I mean, like they're trying. It's like a weird, they're trying to simulate a visual nostalgia.
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of the graininess of a VHS.
Yeah, and that is absolutely like a style. These films in the second one, I don't know if you've seen the first one or not.
I haven't.
Yeah, the first one seemed more like they came from like the 90s or early 2000s. And, they looked like it, and like the visual style worked for that. It looked like they actually filmed it on those cameras. This one definitely looks like it was filmed digitally, or at least most of them probably were. But I think it kind of keeps up. Like there's a GoPro in the second one, and that's like kind of like a 2013 thing. That was a bigger deal back then than it was now. So I don't know. It like works. It's up and down. It's here and there.
Okay, my big thing is it's a GoPro. It was recorded on a GoPro, right?
Yeah.
Why is it on a VHS? Who went through that fucking process?
That is a great point. Who would like? I don't even. I think that is possible.
But like the actual process of doing that is like getting that digital file onto your computer, taking your computer and burning it onto a DVD, taking it to a DVD to VHS converter store, or getting a DVD to VHS converter and converting it onto a VHS.
Maybe to trade it? I don't know. They find a weird digital thing. They want to trade it. I think one of them, doesn't she watch one of them on the computer? I feel like she watches one of them on the computer, right?
Yeah, I mean, she watches the kid's weird suicide where he becomes a monster on the computer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fuck, man. I don't know. You're totally right. Like, it doesn't make any sense that they would put them on the tapes. I don't know if, like, that goes back to what I was saying earlier with, like, the frame narrative and how it's very clear that they didn't know while recording the frame narrative what was going to be in the shorts. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the one was on a GoPro. It doesn't make any sense that it would be on a tape. You're right.
Yeah, but like, just imagine if he had just on the top of his bike helmet taped like a massive tape recording.
VHS camcorder?
Yeah. He's like, his neck breaks under the weight halfway through it.
He's like 7 feet tall because of how like tall up it is. Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Fucking excellent. Yeah, shit, man. I don't know. I'm glad that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just like, I feel like that this is another strong entry in this series. And after seeing the third one just for myself, because I had to know, I am disappointed that there isn't another movie in the works at all in relation to this series. But I think you make a great point. Why isn't this like a found footage, like 10 episode series, 2 shorts per episode, frame narrative that goes over the whole season, that ties this all together on like Netflix or like Shudder, right?
Yeah, it's
fucking
clearly a good idea. I like the idea of like, because, you know, obviously anthologies exist, but doing a found footage anthology plus having a frame narrative for that anthology would be kind of an interesting take. Yeah. Because all the good anthology shows, they don't have a frame narrative.
That's what I liked about this movie, and that's what struck me as very unique the first time I saw this, is that not only are the stories found footage, but the footage of them watching the movies is found footage. It's like this meta idea. It makes it feel like some fucking weirdo found this tape of these people watching this shit and, you know, traded it around, which I, you know, really fucking liked.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the first one did a better job than this one, because this one was a little underwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know. They're both pretty good.
I like it in concept. It just didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, man, let's produce that show.
Yeah.
That sounds
we got
awesome.
Money to throw down from all of our podcast
We got
cash.
Big bills incoming from the podcast.
Big booty bills.
Big beefy burgers coming in from the podcast. From Big Podcast. That's us. We're shills.
Yeah. Y'all want to take some podcasts? Make those pills go down pretty nice.
Yeah. No, we don't get any money, but we're here talking about movies. Do you have any more cons, or how are we gonna wrap this up?
Well, we're gonna wrap it up in our classic fashion, Avery. Oh. After your accident, you might not remember it.
No, I don't.
We say 5 words about a movie. We maybe will talk a little bit about what we thought in a little more detail, reiterate any points we feel are necessary. We will give it a rating out of 10, and then we'll say, would you recommend if the people would watch it?
All right. I think we can definitely do that. Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay. We're here to get to that time limit. We're here putting filler in for you guys. Oh, man.
I live in LA. Filler's the name of the game. Lip filler, that is. Because Botox and lip fillers. All right, I'm done.
All right, cool. If you don't mind, I'd like to start.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my 5 words are going to be what found footage should have. And then if you can extrapolate from incomplete data, you'll know that the last word in the sentence has been. And the reason I say that is that this is, I think...
The last sentence has been what?
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 Never mind. I was just saying, like, really the whole sentence would have been what found footage would have been, but that's 6 words. So it's what found footage should have. Which also kind of works.
It's super romantic.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason I say that is because I feel like this is the direction that found footage naturally went in, and it makes sense. It's like this movie's like a shotgun. It just sprays everything. It's just like, bam, here's a whole bunch of shit. A whole bunch of weird shit that's on like found footage. If you like found footage, you're going to really like this movie. I would definitely recommend anybody watch the first one and the second one. There's like some worthwhile ideas in this, I think. I like the idea that every single one of these is like a found footage thing, which I'm personally a fan of. And I like that they're all very, very eclectic and very, very different. With some, minor variations in there, but I think this movie is fun. I think it's totally worthwhile to watch, and I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. It has some shortcomings, but I like this movie. I really do. I like the first one a lot too. Yeah. What do you think, Ash?
I only need one. I only need 4 words to describe how I felt when I finished this movie.
Okay.
What is this, Avery?
Yeah,
what did you make me watch? This is such a weird thing. I came out of it feeling so middled. I almost didn't think I'd have anything to say on it. I did have stuff to say. I had opinions. It really didn't impact me that hard. I think it's mostly like just a difference in our relative experience with anthology series.
Yeah.
There are some cool things that they did here. Did I like the content? No.
No.
I didn't. I liked part of the fucking cult one, but then as soon as it actually went into the horror, like not the psychological horror part, but like the demon coming out of the lady's tummy, like immediately I thought it was stupid.
Oh man, like, I think that's so over the top. And it's your second.
I mean, it's just like so on the nose.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a psychological horror guy. You're more of a body and gore horror guy. That's where we vary.
It's true
in terms of what we like.
It's true.
So you should have guessed that much. You should have known.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah, not a huge fan of this. I like the concept, and that gets at a few points in my book. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
don't go watch it.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you have it, guys.
Definitely don't pay money to see this.
I think that's a fair compromise between our two varying tastes when it comes to horror. You are totally right. I super prefer body horror. I find it to be more effective. Find gore, especially unnecessary gore, to be so much fun. It's so goofy, and especially when it's fake. You don't see anything like that in the real world. So it's at least in your day-to-day life. And so it's enjoyable to me. It's fun silliness. Yeah, it's just the thing is that I'm not a murderer. But I can enjoy some fun body horror gore type stuff.
What are you doing? Are you fucking confessing to a crime in a really roundabout way?
I am not.
I never killed her. I did.
No. I just think gore is fun. I think this movie has fun gore. I think
it's really fun to bathe in the gore of your enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are at all a found footage fan, or you think the idea is cool, you should totally give this movie a shot. You totally should. But that's just where I'm at. But cool. Well, thanks for weighing in, Ash. I'm glad you watched this, because I've brought this movie up several times on the podcast.
And I've brushed it off very effectively, as a matter of fact.
But now you have a frame of reference, because I relate to this movie a lot, especially when we see some found footage stuff. I wonder, maybe we should try to find another found footage flick that's a little more in between. One that's all the way through that we could actually discuss.
Yeah. I think it's hard to discuss the segmented nature of this one, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, maybe, without going through each one of them individually.
Yeah, scene by mini scene. But now there are some good ones. I would say Creep, but I've already seen Creep.
Yeah, we've both already seen that. It's usually more fun when only one of us has seen it.
Or neither, yeah.
Yeah,
we
or
can't pick
neither.
More movies neither one of us have seen. I mean, obviously, we've both already seen Tooth Fairy 2, as
I haven't seen it yet. That's a found footage horror film, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting
we're both
directing.
huge Larry the Cable Guy fans. I think I can speak for both of us when I say that
you
we're
absolutely
both gonna
can.
love it.
Well, great. Thanks, Ash. Thanks for being on the show. Ash, our first guest, everyone.
I host this with you. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, that's so nice. Wow. I'm the second guest on the show.
Did you see the photo I posted, Avery?
No, where?
And look,
Why?
someone
That's
clogged the toilet.
Hey. That's
It's a photo of a toilet with a pair of clogs in it.
Wooden clogs.
Very German, because they also have a big poop fascination.
Ooh, Hangel. Anyway.
Isn't it Hegel?
I don't know.
Help, I'm out of my element.
All right, guys. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to the show. Let us know what your predictions for the Rise of Skywalker are, because we're goddamn curious.
For sure, tell us.
How bad is this movie really going to be?
Oh, it's going to be so good.
It could be good. Who knows? It will surprise all of us and have something like legitimately interesting and surprising. Or maybe they'll just do what's been making them money for 40 years. Which one do you think is more likely?
Probably making money for another 40 years.
Probably, yeah. But we'll see. You never know. You never know with that J.J. Abrams. I don't know. He writes pretty predictable stuff. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you all next week on our episode about The Tooth Fairy 2. We're a serious podcast.
We have legitimate movie opinions. Right?
But we end up watching The Tooth Fairy 2. So great. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I know I've said that like 4 times now, but we love you all so much. Goodbye.
Don't hey babe me, Mike Sullivan. We're supposed to be having breakfast.